Okay, let's dig into this. We're taking a deep dive today into a stack of material focused on a country our source calls Africa's Golden Gateway.
Yeah, and our source material is an excerpt from a travel guide, Discover Ghana. It really sets the scene, describing a country just vibrant with history, culture, incredible nature, and buzzing life.
Right. So our mission here is to, pull out the absolute essential insights from this guide, give you a shortcut to understanding what truly makes Ghana stand out and the kinds of experiences you might expect.
Mm-hmm.
And the guide, it hooks us right away, calling Ghana one of Africa's most peaceful and tourist-friendly spots. So what exactly does this text say contributes to that reputation? What's in this mix of attractions?
Well, right from the start, the guide paints this picture of Ghana, sitting there on the western coast of Africa, known for its incredibly warm hospitality, deep history, cultural richness, lush landscapes, beautiful golden beaches, and dynamic urban centers.
And the way the text describes it, it feels like a place that genuinely offers something for almost everyone, doesn't it?
Exactly, whether you're chasing history or nature, wildlife, or maybe just looking to relax.
And that peaceful, tourist-friendly angle? What does the guide point to?
It highlights a few key things. A stable, democratic political environment, for one. Then there's the rich African heritage, these really significant historical sites.
Right.
Diverse natural beauty, beaches, forests, savannas, waterfalls, vibrant local festivals, traditional music, dance, and, of course, the delicious food and bustling markets.
That combination sounds... Well, it sounds incredible.
The guide suggests that's what makes it so welcoming.
Okay, let's start peeling back the layers then. Beginning with the history, which the guide clearly gives a lot of weight to, it focuses on the castles along the central region coast, Cape Coast and Omina Castle specifically.
That's right. And their significance is described as profound, powerful, necessary reminders of Ghana's past during the transatlantic slave trade. It frames visiting them not just as seeing a sight, but as a deep, impactful experience.
Yeah, the language is strong, calling a tour through them a must for anyone interested in history or wanting to understand the origins of the African diaspora. You can tell this history is absolutely central to the story the guide is telling.
Yeah, and what's interesting is, even when talking about such, heavy history, the guide slips in a practical tip.
Oh.
It mentions finding beachfront hotels nearby, offering sea views, letting you stay close to that historical ambiance even after your visit. Sort of blends the practical with the profound.
That's thoughtful. Okay, moving from that powerful history.
Yeah.
The guide then shifts into Ghana's natural wonders. Parks, a massive lake, waterfalls. It highlights Kakum National Park first, near Cape Coast. Sounds unique, especially this canopy walkway.
Oh, yes, the canopy walkway. The guide describes these incredible views high above the rainforest canopy.
Wow.
It mentions seeing unique flora and fauna from up there, monkeys, antelopes, exotic birds.
Getting there.
It suggests using a local rental car from Cape Coast for flexibility.
Makes sense. Then there's Mole National Park. The guide calls it Ghana's largest, most prominent wildlife reserve.
Yeah, home to elephants, antelope, baboons, lots more. The classic African wildlife experience, really.
How do you experience it?
The guide talks about safari drives and also guided walking tours to really get you into the wilderness.
Right.
And it recommends booking eco lodges or safari places right near the park for that immersive feel.
Good tip. And Lake Volta. That sounds different again. One of the world's largest man-made lakes, it says.
That's it. Sounds like a place more for maybe relaxation, boat cruises, fishing, just soaking in the scenery. You can also visit the Akosombo Dam there for panoramic views, apparently.
Stop planning for that.
The guide advises booking day tours and those lakeside lodges in advance, suggests it's pretty popular.
Okay. And finally, Welly Waterfalls.
In the Volta region, described as the tallest waterfall in West Africa, set within the Agamatsa Wildlife Sanctuary. So great for hiking and swimming, the guide says.
So if you look at all these places, Kakum, Mole, Lake Volta, Wheelie Waterfalls, the guide really shows how Ghana's nature caters to a huge range of interests, doesn't it?
Absolutely. You've got adventure, wildlife spotting, pure relaxation, hiking. It seems to cover a lot of bases.
And that diversity extends to its cities and cultural centers too, right?
Yeah.
Accra first, the capital.
Yeah, described as this bustling capital, a real mix of tradition and modernity.
What are the highlights there, according to the guide?
It lists major sites like the Kwame Nkrumah Mausoleum, historic Jamestown, the famous Makola Market, Labadi Beach, the Independence Arch.
So landmarks and history.
Yes, but the guide makes it clear Accra isn't just that. It talks about vibrant nightlife, art galleries, shopping malls, top-rated restaurants. It's got that modern city energy, too.
Combination.
Suggests comparing hotels and boutique stays. Lots of options.
Okay, and then Kumasi, which the guide positions quite differently.
Right, as the absolute heartland of Ghana's rich Ashanti culture. Very distinct feel.
Key sites there. Mania Palace, which is historic. The massive Kajetia Market, noted as one of West Africa's largest open-air markets. And the Prempeh Tesik Jubilee Museum.
Getting between Accra and Kumasi.
The guide mentions options like booking domestic flights or buses. Pretty standard travel connections.
It's fascinating how the guide portrays them. Accra and Kumasi representing these different, yet equally vibrant facets of Ghana.
Yeah, one the modern capital, the other steeped in this deep historical and cultural tradition. It shows the country's range.
And for something maybe a bit more laid back, the coast comes up again. Beaches.
Specifically mentions Busua and Kokrobite beaches. Notes they're popular with surfers and backpackers.
What's the appeal?
Stunning sunsets, fresh seafood right there, and just a really relaxed vibe, apparently. Busua gets a specific shout-out for its surfing scene and having boutique guest houses.
Sounds idyllic. Okay, this next part. My stomach's rumbling already. The must-try cuisine. The guide lists some dishes that just sound incredible.
Oh, yeah. Well, jollof rice first. Described as spiced rice, often with meat or fish. A West African classic, right?
Absolutely. Then there's wakie, a mix of rice and beans served with stew, sometimes even spaghetti, the guide says.
Interesting combo. And fufu with light soup.
A very traditional dish, yeah. Eaten with your hands. The guide highlights that authentic experience.
Okay. And banku and tilapia.
That's a fermented corn dish, banku, served with grilled tilapia. Sounds delicious.
And one more. Killer whale. Spicy fried plantains.
Yeah, like a snack or side dish. The guide really emphasizes that exploring the food is a key part of experiencing Ghana.
You can tell it frames these dishes as essential cultural experiences, not just, fuel.
Exactly, part of the fabric of the place.
And speaking of culture, the guide suggests timing your visit right because Ghana has these spectacular cultural festivals.
Right, it gives a few examples, like Homowo in Greater Accra, a harvest festival celebrated with real pomp and ceremony.
Okay.
And the Abokir Festival in Winneba, which sounds unique, a hunting festival full of color and friendly competition. Wow. It also mentions Panafest, which is a broader celebration of African cultural heritage and reunification.
These examples really showcase the energy and the importance of community and tradition that the guide attributes to Ghana.
Yeah, definitely adds another layer to the cultural richness it's describing throughout.
So, finally, the guide wraps up with some practical stuff. Planning the trip.
Yeah, the essentials. Currencies, the Ghanaian cedi, GHS. English is the official language, but many local languages like Twi and Ga are widely spoken.
Best time to visit.
Says the dry season, typically October to March. Makes sense for travel.
What about connectivity, SIM cards, internet?
Widely available and affordable, according to the guide, which is good news for travelers.
And safety, always a key question.
States Ghana is generally safe, but advises the usual caution in crowded areas. Standard travel advice, really.
Visas.
Check the Ghana immigration website or consult your nearest embassy. Standard procedure.
Okay. And it also mentions booking platforms.
Yeah, just notes that using a booking platform can help with planning. Lets you compare and book flights, hotels, rental cars, see prices. Basically streamlines the logistics.
Right. So pulling all this together, what's the big picture takeaway from this deep dive into the guide?
Well, it really reveals Ghana as far more than just like a list of tourist sites. It describes a country offering this incredibly rich, multifaceted experience.
Yeah, moving from that profound history in the coastal castles.
Exactly, to the vast beauty of the national parks and the lake, the energy of Accra and Kumasi, the relaxed vibe of the beaches.
All supported by that vibrant culture and clearly amazing food.
Precisely. The source material itself sums it up nicely, calling Ghana more than just a travel destination. It's a place of connection, transformation, and discovery.
And it uses that phrase we started with, Africa's Golden Gateway.
Which brings us to a final thought, maybe for you, the listener, to ponder. Considering Ghana's immense historical significance, especially around the transatlantic slave trade, and how this guide frames it as a gateway and a place for transformation, what might it truly mean for you to engage with a place holding such a powerful, complex past?
How could a journey there, perhaps, offer a unique kind of connection, maybe a personal transformation, that goes deeper than typical tourism?
Yeah, something to think about regarding this Golden Gateway.